Welcome everyone. Feeling of togetherness, and let us take up the journey towards learning. Start with salutation. Om. Asato ma satkamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Divine Mother, God of all religion, gurus and saints of all religion, hold our hand, lead us from unreal to real, from darkness of ignorance, from not knowing, to make us, take us to the brightness of knowledge, to awareness. Take us to the journey of knowing more and more of who we truly are. Take us from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Welcome. Today we have another very exciting journey, and the more we are, the more I am getting into this world, the more I realize what an exciting journey is this. Things that we never knew possibly could exist, does exist. And yet we were there. It is like, the fish. The fish lives in the water. The ocean fish or river fish or a pond fish, it lives in the water. And as per the scientists, the zoology, they say the fish are not aware of what is water. And this is exactly the journey today. You and I are not aware of, not just who we are, that you keep hearing this jargon. Who am I? Where am I come from? Who's my father? Who's my mother? Reflect. And this journey is going to progressively and excitingly taking us across to another domain, another world, which is actually this world. Just like the fish. Fish is in that world. Fish is living in the water, but not aware of the water. You and I are unconscious of that awareness, that consciousness. Now, it is like, what is real, what is not real. Let's say you had a dream and you saw one of your favorite friend or one of your young couple known to you have given birth to a baby in your dream. You are seeing it, okay? Given birth to a baby. And everybody is rejoicing. And now wake up from dream. And you tell your partner, your husband or your wife, you know something? Today I dreamt, and you take the name of the couple, that she's given birth to a baby boy. And both of you smile and make a comment. But you don't go around and starting to Google Amazon.com to send off a gift. Why? Because you say it's only a dream. You know it is not real. And the beauty part is we are not realizing that in this world right now, what we are in that dream. We keep hearing it and you say, how? Come on. This is the real world. I can touch, I can taste, I can feel, I can grab, I can sign and say, this is my money and this is my property. This is my car and this is my house and this is my family. Shankaracharya's Guru's Guru. He goes ahead. His name is Gaudapada. Gaudapada is Shankaracharya's Guru's Guru. And his disciple is Govindapada, who's Shankaracharya's Guru. Nice to know all this, no? Ancient India and the world over there doing research on this. And you and I, as Indians, we don't know anything. As Bharatiya, Bha is Brahma Jyoti. And Rata is those who are immersed in that Brahma Jyoti. Have you realized? We are aware so little about this Brahma Jyoti stuff. Where is the Brahma Jyoti? Brahma Jyoti is aware, a different kind. And we know. We are supposed to be knowing. And that's what Bharat is. Rata, Bha is Brahma Jyoti, Rata is those who are immersed in that. We are aware that whatever we are doing, we are aware. Let's take the same water. How much of water is there on earth today compared to when the earth started? Is it more? Is it same or is it less? Most of us, you and me, will say it is less. Why? Because we keep hearing propaganda, advertisements, and newspaper articles telling us water shortage, water shortage, water shortage. And we keep reading, and soon enough, there will be no water on earth, and science fictions. But you know something? If you go to encyclopedia, there's a beautiful story given. You can never forget it. I have mentioned it a few days ago. It is in the W volume of the World Book Encyclopedia. It is written with a beautiful story. The water that you are drinking right now may have been the water in which you took bath 30 days ago. Maybe the same water, maybe Alexander the Great too drank 2,000 years ago. And this story, once you read it, you know it now. You can never forget it. The water cycle makes the water safe. You know, the same thing is the Ananda cycle, the joy cycle, no suffering cycle is within you and me. And we are not aware. Our intention of this Sunday and Thursday session and doing reading and getting into the meditation is what? Towards this called enlightenment. Buddha. Buddha is the one who knows. Buddha was asked when he was going for his first lecture to Sarnath from Kashi, Varanasi. And on the way he was resting. It's quite a long way, walking. He was resting under a tree. And one of the shepherd boy came down and said, "What are you?" He was glowing, he must be looking grand. He didn't say, "Who are you?" He said, "What are you? What are you? Are you God?" Buddha just smiled and shook his head. He said, "Are you an angel?" Shook his head. "Are you a monk?" Buddha answered, "I am the awakened one. And yours and my journey is to awaken ourselves." Just like we wake up from the dream and we say, no, that baby wasn't born. Or I dreamt that somebody, or I am dead. And wake up and say, thank God I'm not dead. Paramahansa Yogananda is talking about in one of his experience. He said he experienced that he was in a fighter battleship. And he was the captain of the ship. He said, and he was in war, and another battleship fired, and one bullet entered his heart. And Paramahansa Yogananda says, and I laid down, my chest was paining. He is experiencing that in the dream. And he says, and I said, he's saying that I said to myself, oh, so this is dying. And my bullet has pierced the heart. And then he himself is saying, suddenly I said to myself, how can he be dying? You know how to stop your heart. You stop your heart and stay alive. And then he said, I woke up and he said, oh, it was only a dream. Just like that, Vedanta is talking about. Paramahansa Yogananda was one of the greatest Vedantists. Vedanta is Vedanta Nama Upanishad Pramana. Upanishad. And every, the entire Bhagavad Gita, which Paramahansa Yogananda wrote, is intensely from Upanishad. He's quoting chapters after chapters about Upanishad. And Vedanta is Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra. These are three textbooks if considered. Amongst the Upanishads, there are 10 Upanishads. And Kena, Usha, Mangatta, Mandapa, like that, it goes on to 10 Upanishads. And last is the Brihadaranyaka, the largest Upanishad. So in this journey, what we need to understand into the Mandakya Upanishad, Guru is Guru of Shankaracharya. In the second sutra, it's only 12 sutras. And in the second sutra, Mandakya Upanishad is called, in Bengali, they call it Dhani Lanka, meaning it's that tiny chili, very hot, very spicy. Very rarely you find it these days over here. Gaudapada is telling the world, you are neither born nor are you dead. Neither are you a sadhaka, nor are you doing sadhana, nor are you a siddhya. That is, you have enlightened yourself. If you look at all the religions, whether Buddhism, Hinduism, and in Hinduism amongst, whether it is you're going by Advaita, Vishishta, any one of them, there is sadhana, there is moksha, there is nirvana, there is enlightenment. Gaudapada is saying, nobody is sadhaka, nobody is enlightened, nobody is taking up the journey. Then what is he saying? He's saying, you all have always been enlightened, only thing you've forgotten. It is like Paramahansa Yogananda. He was alive, but he was dreaming it. It is what he's writing, autobiography of Yogi. It is like you dreamt. Let's take another example. You're watching a beautiful movie. And the movie is going ahead and showing, let's say, destruction of a big city by Godzilla or by King Kong, Empire State Building. No? But you know it's just a movie. You even get up, movies continuously, maybe go and get something to eat or go to the washroom and get a drink, and you come back and say, what happened? You know it's a movie, it's just going on. And you know, you can replay it if it is one of your recorded movies. You can always go back. And these days, TV with the Tata Sky have got the replay recording facility. You're not worried, bothered. Let's say there's a beautiful movie going on, wild animals. If you touch the movie, you are only touching the screen. You're not touching the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park and scared, oh my God, they will come and eat me up. Isn't it? Let's take another example. You're watching the movie. There is absolute reality, there is transactional reality, and there is illusionary reality. In the absolute reality, you're watching the movie, you know it's a movie. You know. That's the purpose of this session. In the transactional reality, You say during the movie, after the movie, was the villain caught? Did he get the right punishment? Was he jailed or did he escape? And if he escaped, you're very unhappy. And you're very unhappy if the hero didn't get the right recognition. If the hero didn't marry the heroine, you say, what a ditcher. So what happened? That's called transactional analysis. Though it is a movie, but you got involved into it. You and I today in this samsara are totally involved in this so-called reality. Illusionary reality is another wilder worries, imaginations of dangers and accidents and what would happen if that happened. These all are supposed to be titled by you and me as reality, whereas it is not real. The Gaudapada is explaining in the second sutra. He's saying there is Jagrat, there is Sapna, there is Sushupti. In the Jagrat and Sapna, you are aware of your awareness. In the Sushupti, deep sleep, you are not aware of anything. You left your body, your mind, everything. But there is some, that awareness, consciousness is there. Because of which, when you wake up, you say, I had a wonderful sleep. But studying Mandakya, you know, neither Sushupti, nor Sapna, nor Jagrat is truly the consciousness. The consciousness is the Turiya. Turiya means fourth. Recollect our earlier Mandakya sessions. Turiya is the fourth. But actually consciousness is not fourth. The truth is consciousness alone is the fourth, which in turn has become the deep sleep state and the Swapna state and the Jagrat state. And that Turiya, without which, without that awareness, consciousness, you cannot experience this world. This world is dead to you. If the consciousness is dead to me, it's dead to me. World, it doesn't exist. Dead meaning zero consciousness. Little bit consciousness is in coma and it goes on. So let us share a little bit of slides of today. Birthless, deathless. Welcome. Buddha said, I am the one. You say, come on, how can it be birthless, deathless? We are getting born, the babies are born, and we are dying. Yes, it is true. But what is true? It's only the body which is being born. It is the body which is growing. It is the body which is aging and becoming sick and suffering. It is the body which is dying, not you. And goes on to say, this little monk who had left, renounced everything. His wife had died. Children had grown up and left, living their own life. He became a monk. And in Uttarakhand, he was walking and he sat under a tree with a little roadside stone slab. He was resting and he was very tired and somehow he was very sad. An old lady who must be nearby village was picking up dry wood to go and burn and cook her food. And she came, and just imagine the old lady comes and asks the monk, Jai Ho Baba, itna dukh mein kyun? Why are you looking so sad? So the Baba says, Mata, hum bandh mein hai. I am in bondage. She nods her head and says, bondage with who? With your wife? The monk says, no, my wife died long time ago. He said, then who? With your children? He said, no, my children have already married and left and they're living their own life. She said, then bonded with who? Is it with your property? He said, no, I have already sold them off. He said, then with what? With your money? He said, no, I've given away the money also. So she asked, with what? With your body? With your mind? With your thoughts? Just think. Your thoughts are continuously changing. Your body is continuously changing. And anything which is changing, it's not constant, is mithya. Remember, what is mithya and what is satya? Intrinsic quality and borrowed qualities. Boiled potato, hot boiled potato with butter, Sunday. Have it for dinner. It's very nice, lovely. And heat of the potato is borrowed. The hot potato, it is not its own property. It's mithya, as per Vedanta. You say, come on, it is hot. Yes, but it is borrowed its heat from the hot water. Hot water is borrowed its heat from the hot pan. And the hot pan is borrowed its heat from the hot stove, hot burner, hot fire. But the fire has its intrinsic quality of the heat. It is, even if you take it to North Pole, to Iceland, it will still be hot, as long as it is on. That is satya, the fire property. Everything else is mithya, same thing. She says, so your body is not real. This is Gaudapada said. Nobody is in bondage. Saying, you can attain this, asina sambhava. What does that mean? Meaning, when you sit still, then you attain this knowledge. You attain that peace, that harmony. You attain that moksha, that understanding. You attain that swadhyaya, study of your own mind, of your own body. This Gaudapada is saying, na bhaktaya, nobody is bound to anything. You think for a second, the closest, the highest bondage that we know is also having a separation, isn't it? How do you put this up? End of all meeting. We are having a meeting, soon there will be an end, isn't it? And it goes on to say, the fact, a Buddhist, when they come down to some celebration where the baby is born, they are saying, birth will always end with a death. They're already thinking about death. Cheerful guys, isn't it? So what is Buddha saying? Anityam, anityam, anityam. Everything is impermanent. Duksham, duksham, duksham. Everything is suffering, suffering, suffering. Shunyam, shunyam, shunyam. It is zero. It is nil. And it goes on to say with the four noble truth, yes, there is a possibility to end all this and attain that. Is to attain that Atma Deepa Bhava. See your own. Our intention through these understanding and study and practicing through Raja Yoga, Kriya Yoga, Karma Yoga, selfless work, Bhakti Yoga through Dvaita, Sankhya philosophy, also side by side. You see all around our gurus and Babaji and Divine Mother. We're not leaving any stone unturned and keeping the knowledge of the Advaita Vedanta, the supreme knowledge. Gaudapada is considered In Himalayas, one very senior monk, 96 years of age, when you asked him, what do you think about Gaudapada? He said, Gaudapada was Akkad Mahara. Akkad is generally in the plains, you call it a vagabond. But in Himalaya, Akkad meaning he is totally without any connection, any bondage. So when he was asked, and what do you think about Shankaracharya? He said, Shankaracharya is Jagat Guru. He takes everybody with you, everybody is understanding. So nowadays Shankaracharya has written, though being an ardent Advaitavadi, he's written a lot on Dvaita and Sankhya philosophy. He's written beautiful hymns on Ganga, on Mother Saraswati, and Krishna, and Devi Mata, and Divine Mother, Shiva. He's written beautiful hymns on them. So, end of all meeting is separation, end of all birth is death. And this is how is the journey that we are taking it. End of all accumulation, knowledge, power, wealth, money is dissipation. Reminds me of Guru Nanak Ji. With his aid, they were going around, and those days India was one. So he was passing through Lahore. So in the session, there was a rich man who came down and said, sir, please come and bless my home. Come and spend the night there, and then you can proceed next day. So he had to stay somewhere, and the rich gentleman was kind and not very proud, and he said, okay. As he approached his house, he found his house on the top. I've got lots of flags. So Guru Nanak Ji said, what are these flags? Asked him, questioned him. He said, sir, whenever I made 1 lakh rupees, I put that flag. When I made 5 lakh rupees, I put that flag, a bigger flag, and a bigger flag for 10, like that. Those days, lakhs of rupees, very rich guy. So Guru Nanak Ji didn't say anything. And he spent the night. Next morning, after his bhajan, sadhana, he said, now I am going. So the rich gentleman comes and asks him, sir, before you go, please give me something so that when I die, you will recognize me and you will take me to heaven. Sankhya philosophy. No? In Dvaitavad, we go to heaven. In Advaita, Paramahansa Yogananda is writing, beautiful. He says, you do not become angel after good work in heaven. You become angel right now. Start acting like one right away. So, this heaven is right here. And we need to make that heaven. Anyway, so Guru Nanak Ji said, okay, he had a little jhola, so he took out the needle from the jhola and gave it to him. He said, you take this needle and when you die, you bring it with you. I will recognize you with that needle. So Sadaji was very happy and he went and gave it to his wife and he said, Theek tara rakh lena. When I die, you should give it to me. Wife was very intelligent and smart. She said, Hanji, and she went to keep it. And then she comes back and says, but tell me, how are you going to carry this needle? He said, why? How will you carry it? You don't have hand, you don't have body, you're dead. How will you carry the needle? He thought for a while, and Sadaji went running to Guru Nanak Ji. He was far up, he went and caught him. He said, Guruji, you give me the needle, how am I going to carry it? The Guru Nanak Ji smiled, he turned around and he showed the bungalow. It was still visible. He said, what are those flags for? You're not going to carry any one of this. This is what it means. Whether knowledge, power, wealth, money, relationship, sambandha, anything, it is beginning is end, is destruction. But that's what is giving sorrow to you and me and beginning of the suffering. So the end of all climbing is falling. Cheerful guy, Buddhist, no? Whatever the climbing is, end of all birth is death. So what does it mean? End of all attachment. The highest attachment is a young mother giving birth to a baby. Whole time the baby is with her, going off to sleep. Her one hand must be patting the baby. But when she goes off to sleep, she should be feeling my baby is getting away. I'm not conscious of my baby. I'm losing my awareness of the baby. She should be grabbing hold of the baby and say, I don't want to sleep. No, she happily goes off to sleep and she says, thank God I've got to sleep. I know young mothers will say, you don't know, mothers don't get sleep. But whenever they do, their hands falls off. They're totally detached. And deep sleep, they're not aware of anything. Their body falls off, their relationship falls off, their baby falls off, their property falls off. They're not attached to anything. So, there's a beautiful poem by Swami Vivekananda called The Song of the Monk, Song of the Sannyasi. And he goes on to say, thine only the hand that holds the rope, which ties you, this rope, that drags thee on. Sannyasi, say Om Tat Sat, and let go that bond. Let go. You and I have to become aware of it. So what is this practice is talking about and understanding? It doesn't mean let go, meaning run off to the mountain Himalayas and become a monk and renounce your family. In fact, the great monks, they do not allow a Grihi to come and become a monk. He said, first finish your duty to your mother, to your family, to your wife, to your children, then only come. It is a young guy, he was finishing his MBA. You would be knowing, you must have heard him quite often, Swami Sarvapriyananda. He had 1 year to go, and he was right from his childhood. He said, I noticed he was in Bhubaneswar. He born and brought up there, and right from childhood, his parents were very fond of Ramakrishna Mission, and those days there were no TVs and all. He was very fond of reading, and he read a lot on Vivekananda, and he wanted to become a monk. He was affiliated with the Ramakrishna Mission monks, and he had declared his desire, and they said, okay, he was initiated. He had 1 year to go for his MBA. He came and asked, I would like to come and become a sannyasi. What do I do by completing the MBA? I'm not going to use to become a business administrator. The senior monk, he was then 96 years of age, and he smiled and he said, is it good to stop anything which you have started? He says, complete it and then come. They're not craving to just somebody joins up. So similarly, the message of the great masters is, you and I need to live in the family with 10 out of 10 commitment of a son, of a daughter, 10 out of 10 commitment of a father and a mother, 10 out of 10 commitment of a husband and a wife, as a professional, as a doer. Nowhere should you be less by one number. You cannot say that I am a sixth mother. Why? Because I am a better professional. Now our intention is to be 10 out of 10 in every one of the disciplines. And yet, be 10 out of 10 in renunciation. So what is it? Become monk-like. Monk-like attitude. So, transactional reality, and absolute reality. In the transactional reality, in the samsara, you and I, like in the movie, we get involved with the hero and the heroine. You and I, we are getting involved with the family and the people and the money and the property. And we say, this is mine. And that's where the suffering begins, with the desire and expectations. Expectations, expectation, expectation. So inner renunciation must come. Just like, I'll give a crude example of the dream. Inner renunciation, you know it was only a dream. Inner renunciation, you know it was just a movie. I am not attached to the hero and the heroine, it's just a movie. Their characters play. So know it through the Advaita that I am in this role, I'm playing like an actor, but not acting. I'm sincere, 100%, 10 out of 10, playing my role of my duty. Fulfill the duty to the core by a true karma yogi, but detachment of the work that you're doing with no expectation of the result. Leave the result, as Bhagavad Gita used, karman nibadina ma phaleshu kadachana. Don't expect any result, don't anticipate anything. You do your work because you're supposed to be doing it. You're the doer. And this is the message from Vivekananda he's talking about. Here is a young boy came to a guru in one of the Himalayan cave and said, please give me realization. I want to be free from the bondage. Guru said, okay, stay here with me for a while and sweep the cave and cook the food and be with me and do your meditation and study scriptures. So 20, 30 days gone, and the boy comes and says, sir, you're not giving me realization. I want to be free. Free me, free me, free me. The Guru said, yes, when you're ready, I will free you. He said, no, you're not. 20, 30 days are gone. You're still not freeing me. I think I will leave and go to another Guru who will free me faster. So Gurudev, he realized that he's a nice disciple. He does a lot of good work. Okay, he said, okay, come tomorrow morning. I will free you. The next morning, the boy is excited. He goes down. And as he goes outside the cave, there was a big tree. And he found Guru is holding on to the tree and said, telling the disciple, free me, free me, free me. The disciple is very surprised. He said, sir, Gurudev, let go thy hand. If you just let go your hand, you're free. The Gurudev looks at him and says, precisely, you have to let go. You and I, message to us is no bandha. Nacha sadhana. We don't need to if you are aware. But what is the purpose of all this sadhana? Is to reach that frame of mind. To go beyond that mind. No mind state. Reminds me, we should do a session on no mind state. No? So there is nobody this is Gaurapada's message. Nobody who's a practitioner, who's a spiritual, nobody is the mind. Nobody is a siddhya, nobody is a sadhana, nobody is doing and sadhaka. We are all, these sessions which you keep doing, they're all for the process of the purification, like an ink pot. If you take an ink pot, and even today you get some beautiful ink, good quality, high-class ink, in a beautiful glass jar. Some of them are crystal glass jar. Not very expensive crystal, but pretty good crystal. And if you clean it up, remove the labels, it's very nice to store things in it. I used to be very fond of it in my youth. And if you put it to clean the ink with the brush and all that, it cleans, but not so much. But if you keep it under a running tap for 15-20 minutes, the water coming in and going out, you will see it become crystal clear. I used to do that. Same thing happens with you and I, because the ancient yogis realized that breath, Sansi Hanuman hai. Mightiest of the mighty power of the Hanumanji is in the breath. Use that breath. Get initially with the Vedantic meditation, be aware of the coolness and the warmth. We've done this. And then follow the breath, do Hamsa meditation, Omkar meditation, and go into the Kriya meditation. Those of you Kriya Bhan Yogi, those of you absolutely new amongst you, maybe the parents, please contact, give us a call. I shall guide you how to do these initial parts of the meditation. They're beautifully laid down. And Mahavatar Babaji, difficult to believe, he's more than 6,000 years young. Read autobiography. Many of us experience him all the time. We know his hand is always there protecting us continuously. So, this understanding, there is selflessness, renunciation has to be brought in. Not me, I, me, and myself. Just try this out. Supposing you're feeling sometime very happy and joyful, you will feel better if you go to the neighbor or one of your family member and say, let me make a cup of coffee for you, special one. And when you make that coffee and give it to the neighbor, mother, or let me take care of your child for next 1 hour, you relax. You'll feel so happy. You know why? Because you're doing a selfless work. Whereas if you want to feel down and depressed, just try it out. Close your eyes and sit down and just say, I'm all alone. Nobody loves me. Everybody love is fraud. They're all wanting something from me. That's why they love me. And just see how you will feel at the end of it. This is me. And this is what is. What should you do? Selfless work without expecting karma yoga. I'm very restless. I just can't settle down my mind. Sadhana, and every day at a specific time, meditation is the answer. Meditation is nothing else but getting to know the mind and go beyond the mind. When the mind becomes no mind, you're not coming with thoughts. And so beautiful Vedantic meditation, recollect, after you finish your Kriya Yoga, Asanga Aham, I'm totally detached. Asanga Aham, Asanga Aham. Say it, chant it to yourself. Puna, Asanga Aham, Asanga Aham, Asanga Aham. Just imagine, visualize it with your eyes closed. Asanga Asmin. Asmin is I am. I am detached. Sat Chit Ananda Asmin. Sat, infinite existence, ocean of existence is me. Enjoy this existence. You know this computer exists, this watch, it is there existing in front of me. The glass of water is existing, this house is existing, my children, my family, my wife, my husband is existing. This mountain is existing, that lake is existing, the river is existing. Think. Sit in a beautiful place, maybe on top of your roof, On a cloudy day, cloudless night, look at the stars and or a mountain, or look at a beautiful sight. Hold on to that existence. Not, I have a mountain in front of me, but the existence has become the mountain. Infinite ocean of existence is Vedanta is wanting us to call Sat. From there only, Satyagraha, Bapu Gandhi's, and truth alone shall veil Mandukya Upanishad. Is Satya has come from that Sat. Remember, this is intrinsic quality, not borrowed quality. It is the truth alone shall exist. Everything else will perish. Existence alone will stay. And that existence is not the body, not the mind, not the name, not the form. Existence is me. And I experience that existence as per that second sutra of Mandukya Upanishad through Jagrat, Swapna, Susupti, and Turiya. That Turiya is actually that consciousness awareness is playing the role of a Susupti, Swapna, and Jagrat. And that awareness is through which you and I experience this world, but experience with the detachment of a monk life. Don't have to become a monk. Don't have to say, don't disturb me, don't talk to me. No, you must play your role of 100% commitment in which Supreme, Ishvara, Brahman, God, Divine Mother, whichever way you like to associate your thinking process, has placed you. Play that role 100% and do not let it be scattered with disturbing thoughts. Goals of all religion is this, attaining oneness with that Brahman. And you know what? It is always there with us. A beautiful, simple story of I've shared with you sometime. Those of your old timers will recollect it. You know, Mullah Nasiruddin, and some time back, he used to trade from one state to another state, one kingdom to another kingdom. And when he used to go in a mule cart, he used to carry lots of luxury goods and take it to the other side, sell it and come back again, and again take it. And the custom officer, those days they were custom officers also, and they used to check all the papers and everything is to be correct. But they knew, so by gut feeling they knew Mullah is somehow he's taking something unauthorized. He is not allowed to taking it to the other country, other state. But they could never catch him because his papers were always correct. So years went past, Mullah Nasiruddin retired, he's happy now, he's got made a lot of money. One day he went to that little tea shop, and it just so happened this custom officer who used to think that he's smuggling something had also retired. He was also sitting there and having a cup of tea. So he saw Mullah Nasiruddin, he said, come Mullah, come and sit down, let's have a cup of tea together. Then he said, see, my mind is really bugged. I know you were smuggling something. Now you've retired, I've retired. Tell me something. What was it you were smuggling? I could never catch you. So Mullah Nasiruddin smiled and he said, oh, I was smuggling the mules. The custom officer could not think of it. He was thinking about goods, commodities. But he was smuggling the mules. He used to take them across, sell it up there, come back, get new mules, and the other country did not have mules. So it is right in front of the nose of the custom officer. Yet he missed to see it. It is right in front of you and me and right in our awareness continuously. And yet we are missing it. We are always free. Only thing, we need to be realizing it. Nobody is controlling us. It is only our mind and our wrong inscriptions written down. And by meditation, by those breathing technique, with the powerful Kriya Yoga, you rewrite on top of that, Na bandhaha, I am free. Neither are you seeking liberation, because you are liberated. The water, it has not become the ocean. It has not become a pond. It has not become a river. It has not become a lake or a puddle on a rainy water. The water has not reduced. Even after a flood, you will not say water will be more in earth. The water, as you know, scientific knowledge, it is the same. But notice, because of the recycle of the water contained is the same. It's just changing from one form to the other. In the ocean, the water is becoming the ocean. Water is become the ocean. Consciousness has become you and me. The gold has become tiara, a bangle, a necklace, or a paijate. It has become. It is gold. It is water. Water has become the wave. And the wave, instead of being restless and playful and distracted, becomes calm. It becomes the water again. And this is the story. The little wave is playing. And his friend is saying, hey, Robin, can you see the dark line? He said, yeah, what is that? He said, that's the shoreline. He said, okay, what is that? He said, that is the Bombay shoreline, Goa shoreline, California shoreline. You're going there. I said, really? What will happen there when I go there? He said, you will not be a wave anymore. I said, what do you mean by I will not be a wave anymore? What will I become? He said, my friend says, you'll become water. I said, shut up. I'm a wave. Why should I become water? He said, you are water. You're not wave. I said, I don't believe you. My friend says, what a fool. Let me leave him. I'll go away. I don't want to play with you. He goes away. Comes my Vedanta friend. I like him. He's always calm and cool and always got a smile. He says, hey, Robin goes, why are you looking so worried? He said, what? That guy, monkey, told me I'm going to die there. Vedanta friends, with a gentle smile, says, that is true. He said, really? But I don't want to die. He said, it is possible. I said, really? What do I have to do? He said, become still. I said, still? He said, still and no noise. Don't make noise. Become silent. Silent and still. SS. I said, what will happen? He said, you will become what you already are. You will become water. I said, what is water? Where is water? I'm a wave. He said, no, touch yourself, top, bottom, side, inside, anywhere. You are water. Realize your water, become calm, becomes calm and still. So what happens now to the water? The wave which has become the water, same water cycle. Notice, it has not only become that part of the ocean, it has become every part of the ocean, from that end to this end. Can you say this one was Robin Ghosh wave? No, it has become one with the ocean. You and I become one with the Brahman in this journey. That is the journey in this life alone. Practice. We need to talk to ourselves. Without, we spend so much of time on eating and sleeping. How much time are we spending in reliable reading? Genuine reading to know more. Genuine swadhyaya, reading our mind. And spiritual practices. So, desire to exist in this body, you would now desire to live. You will attain Sat, existence. Chit is the consciousness. With consciousness, with awareness, I realize existence is me. Existence, imagine it like an ocean. So what if you're sitting in front of that mountain or the ocean? Feel, realize it, that existence of the universe is this mountain, is this ocean. It is like you say, what is the color of the sky? The child will say blue. You and I know sky has no color. It is only the scattering of the light effect. It appears to be blue. Child looks up at the sky and he sees, and like an inverted bubble is the sky. And he says, that's the sky, it's blue. And you explain to him, that is not a domain, it is infinite. The more you go up, and initially before I started flying, I used to think one day I'm going to go flying down and touch the sky when I started to learn flying. And I realized it is infinite. Just like that to us. Ananda is infinitely present within us. When you attain that Sat, existence is me, with the consciousness, you become aware, you become enlightened, aware. You know, just know it and practice those simple processes. Kriya Yoga, Raja Yoga, Patanjali, Karma Yoga, selfless work for the helping every member of the family, community, country, world. Bhakti Yoga, love. And Jnana Yoga, knowing the truth. What are we praying? Asato va satkamaya. Take us from unreal to real. What we are thinking is real. We are looking at the transactional reality, not the absolute reality. Absolute reality, we learn from Vedanta that it is not real. This world is not real. But that is where we are crying when we lose someone who is dear to us, when we lose some possessions. Try this. When you lose something, a little mobile, computer, anything, a pencil, just think, I don't know how. The existence had become the pencil and had come to me. I'm going to get it back. I don't know how. And just patiently wait and just watch that pencil will come back to you, will find its way back to you, or whatever. It happens to, as you're processing with this process of the journey again and again and again. You do not seek any more realization in the Advaita path because you know you already are, like Nasiruddin, Mullah Nasiruddin, taking the mule. It is in front of us, we are refusing to recognize. He is a very famous Ranganathananda. He left his body at the age of 96. He is I've taken it for example, he is the first monk or first person by Indira Gandhi Nehru's time. He was made the emissary of India, ambassador of India, to go around, not like an ambassador of a country, but go around to the world. He traveled every country and carried the message of Vedanta and what is India, what is Bharat. Every country. He used to travel round and round. He was alive till 96. I have been lucky to be blessed by him, touch his feet. I remember still, it was in Velur Math. He was the president that time. And he had few days to live. He was lying down. A little later, he was shifted to ICU. But even at that time, 96 years of age, he was reading a book on Zen and meditation. Zen and meditation. Thick book. And he had a habit of marking, underlining the book, line which he used to read. That book is still there in Velur Math. Those of you go, if you ever happen to go down there, ask for that book, they will show it to you. And his hand is shaking. 96 years old, very sick. A few, not days, hours later he died, but he was still reading.
It's 12
and his
o'clock.
hand the line that he was drawing instead of straight, it was coming down because he couldn't hold the line, and yet he's reading. This is the urge of his knowledge. And he used to read everything, not just Vedanta. He used to read science, he used to read art, everything in the world. He said, I'm delighted. He said he was an enlightened master. He said, I am enlightened, but I will come back again and again and again to serve the mankind. This was his wish. So we do not know who we really are. We are actually free. And this question, chit, jigyasa, questioning, who am I? Who is my parent? What is this body? What is this consciousness? Start the journey, and you will attain a beautiful, blissful state. With this, I have a few more slides. We will take it on subsequently. It's just past 12, and it's blissful to share with you. If you have any question, you may go ahead and ask.
So why is the spiritual world so full of contradictions? You gave a couple of examples. The end of birth is death. The end of climbing is falling. If you look at chapter 15, verse 3 of the Gita, it mentions that the real joy is to go from outside to inside, but the tools that we are given is to go from inside to outside. So most of the spiritual world is like this. My second question is, what is the purpose of realization? Is it, you gave the example of the water cycle, wherein everything is recycled. If we compare the same with souls, it might be, I might have been, a different soldier maybe in my previous birth. Now I am who I am. So if we compare the water cycle with the soul cycle, either I make peace with the transitory nature, or we look at stillness. So what is the goal? Do we make peace with the transitory nature of the soul, or is it that we look at stillness and then look forward to a world beyond stillness?
You remind me, Rajiv, there was, we had gone to Bhutan, and we were visiting some pagoda of the Buddhist monks. And there was this monk who was sitting, he was the head monk. And I asked him a similar question. He was very big, built. He spoke very good English. He opened up with a big smile. And, Rajiv, what he said, his answer was, big question, no time. But anyway, I shall deal with you with your question, and we shall make an effort of understanding it. Let's take your last question first. Would you like to repeat the last question, please?
Do we accept the fact that change is constant, that we make peace with, okay, I will go through this cycle, I will take rebirth, I'll be at peace with it? Or is it that we achieve stillness and make it as our primary goal and then look forward to a world beyond stillness?
Okay, very good question. And a big question. Tell me the first question again. I have a feeling that both the questions are very close to each other with the answer. First question.
Yeah, it is related. My first question is, why is the spiritual world so contradictory? I mean, who is getting fun out of all this cycle? We could have been one with God, then why have we been separated from God? If the whole process was to be one with God.
Okay, so understanding this, Rajiv, is a very good question, and revered devotees, these are the questions which bother us all the time through the journey. if you look carefully, understanding it in, let's say, in today's session itself, that what is Gaudapada saying? Gaudapada is saying, what freedom are you talking about? You are already free. You are not in bondage. Remember the old lady is telling that monk, what are you bond of? So in the Advaitic perspective, understanding your question is, we lose our oneness by associating ourselves and get limited by this body, name and form. Why? Because right from childhood, as the baby is born, we are massaging the baby, naming the baby, calling the baby, and said, Vedant Kute, and Vedanta is doing this, and we grow up believing I am this body. That is the limitedness starts off. So one of the process of this, to get out of this limited feeling, people like Shankaracharya, at the age of 6, 7, 8, he already knew he's infinite, he's unlimited, he's got this body. And he was told by the Shiva's blessing to Shankaracharya's parent that he's going to live not more than 15 years of life. Would you like a son like that? You know, they were pretty old, father and mother, didn't have any baby, but they were praying to Shiva. And I said, that's why his name is Shankara. Shiva came and he said, I'll give you a boon. Do you want a child who will be 100 years, but filled with normal, good things and bad things? Or do you want a child who will be pure, but not live more than 15 years? So they decided on the second one with a heavy heart, but we want a pure child. And Shankaracharya, by the time she became, father died, mother was suddenly, when he left with, that's another story, we will take it on, but was permitted to leave on the promise that when mother died, he will come back. And he came back from Badrinath all the way just before mother died and did the Mukhagni. He, by the time 8 years of age, became Jagat Guru, and he was teaching his disciples by knowing he's already liberated but encased in this body. And he often says in it that you become sick when you know that you are limited to a body, but you do not have any suffering and sickness and disease when you know you are free. This is how the consciousness, etc., frees you. So who is in bondage? Who is in liberation? As per the Advaita Vedanta. As per Dvaita, as per Siddhanta. As you said beautifully, that the journey within is what? Knowing there is something within from without. What we are doing, normal people like you and me, we are racing outside because we feel limited. We feel, I need this, I desire that, whether it is something to eat or something to wear or something to buy or something to possess or some money to earn or some relationship to have. I have to go out. That's the limitation. And from there comes the desire to action, and it goes on to a cycle. The moment I realize the oneness, for which we did that breathing practice in the Advaita, the coolness and the warmth, and later on breathing in all the good qualities that you would like, and breathing out, especially mithya, the concept of lethargy, the concept of double duality. I'm throwing it out as I'm breathing it out. Concept of finding faults with people. Impurities of my mind which makes me desire and want. I'm throwing it out through the sadhana process. So if you look at it, when you say reality on the absolute reality, we are free. We have to just become aware, like Nasiruddin's smuggling. We have to become aware, and that's the journey through the transactional reality. We have to know in the transactional reality, we have to talk to ourselves. I'm aware that if I want to touch the dinosaurs, I can touch it because it is just a screen. It's just a movie. I know I can replay it. Now with this, something beautiful happened. The mystical experiences happen, where you and I get a lot of mystical experiences, that they have very good influences in our life, seeing divine lights, divine sound, divine vibrations, and divine voices, divine vision in the dreams and meditation. Mata, Divine Mata, Babaji, Gurudev, Vivekananda, Paramahansa Yogananda come into your vision. They give you lasting experiences. Very beautiful changes happen. Our foundation becomes stronger. But this, Rajiv, if you look at it in its entirety in the Advaita knowledge, which Mandakya and those 10 Upanishads are telling us, is actually absolute reality is not true. So it is mithya. It is not. What is the truth? Truth is we are liberated. We have to live through this body to fulfill as per Sankhya, Prakriti and Purusha. The moment I'm liberated, I become Purusha. Prakriti goes away. Maya goes away. Very good question comes up. What is Maya? Why is Maya there? This question, Vivekananda answers it in Jnana Yoga. Question itself is wrong. What is Maya? Why? Because it is like asking. I used to ask this question when I was young in the Air Force. I used to meet the monks, especially at home when they would come for, invited for little prasad. I used to ask, what is time? When did time begin? When did times end? And I used to feel very proud that either those monks didn't answer me thinking what a monkey this guy is. I used to feel proud, say he couldn't answer me. When did time start? The question itself is false. Why? The moment I say what was before time, I've already accepted time. Now, before time, there is nothing, there is time only. And after time is also time. The question itself is wrong. Similarly, is question of Maya. Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti is Maya. Allowing this world to come into being because of the name and form and function. Prakriti brings it. Brahman, Purusha, actually gives the energy to Prakriti to create this. And this is that, remind me of that beautiful story of Dr. Alan Watt, I shared with you all a few days ago, called The Book. The name of the book is Book. He's a Californian, died about 10, 12 years ago, in which this is related to this, Rajiv. I think it will not be a miss if I mention it. He was saying, God alone existed, like every other religion says, and then God created the world. He goes on to say, I'm not going to make this book called The Book. It's not a very big book, but it costs about 2,000 rupees. Very thin book, nicely written, beautifully. And he explains it to simple children, ignorant people like me. He said, God alone was there, nothing else. And God got bored. So when he got bored, he wanted to play. Now, who is he going to play? There is nobody else to play with. You need two people to play. So God, being God, very intelligent and smart. So what he did, he created a not God. God and not God. Now two existence. And God started playing with not God. And it was fun. But the problem became, God being so good and God, he created not God so good that not God forgot that he is also God. So not God forgot totally that he is God. And who is this not God? Alan Watt is saying it is you. So you and I, Rajiv, this is what Vedanta is saying. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Atman Brahman, Tat Tomasi, Prajna and Brahman, consciousness itself is Brahman. So basically it's a very good question, and it keeps on intriguing us in the journey. This realization itself, we are liberated, but because of a karma, past karma, we have to live. Good, good, bad, bad, all faces the law. So the bad karmas will bring suffering, but we have to live through it with good karma, erase the bad karma, so that no suffering, or help other people. Great masters, Paramahansa Ramakrishna and all, took on other people's karma and took the cancer on their own body. They say when they initiate, they remove all their karma so that they can attain the enlightenment. But you and I have to live this physical body till we become liberated. Once we are liberated, as per Vedanta, there are no more birth, no more death. But you may still choose to come on this earth and live for the services, like Ranganathananda, who was the president of, I think it was the 12th president. He chose to come back again and again. As per the statement, Paramahansa Ramakrishna said, I will come back again and again. Paramahansa Yogananda says, I shall come again and again. I shall be sitting with you when you will be doing you will not know me, I will know you. So they may come again and again, but they know who they are. They will play the role. They may live for a very short time, fulfill their role. Your and my journey is to play that monk-like role while being in the samsara. Samsara is what is not real. And that is called Nama Rupa Bhavahara. It's the samsara. It's the like scenario in which, so when we are aware and playing, my hand may be broken. It is paining. Who's feeling the pain? The body, through the body, the brain, through the brain, the mind. But Paramahansa Ramakrishna, his cancer, throat cancer, a few days later he died. Turiya Maharaj coming and asking him, Thakur, how are you feeling today? Kemon acho? Thakur said, paining very much, can't eat. Turiya Maharaj, Hari Maharaj said, but you are looking as if you are in bliss. And Thakur laughs out. So link this story, you know this story. He laughs out and he says, Sale ne pakad liya. Rascal has caught me. Meaning what? He has the body, he has the pain, but he's not attached to the pain. He says, he is not the body, he is not the pain. Jesus Christ, neck chopped off. He resurrected his body because he knows he is not the body. But he lived with that body for 17 more years, came to India, lived for a long, and then he left his body there. When he finished their role, our journey to finalize this very powerful, big question, Rajiv, is to realize and act and walk the talk. Live that life. I hope it touches upon, because it's a very big question. This is all the Advaita is about. Yes, Rajiv, any doubts?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you for showing the path. My second question, I will message it so that we can discuss it more.
Say?
I will send an email about my second question. The stillness part of the question, we will discuss, because that is a bigger, that is a question which has a big answer.
You can do one thing. You send it to me. I have no problem of dealing with the question right now. I do not know the other devotees whether they have the time or they have their lunchtime coming up. But you send it to me and we shall deal with it in the next session. And,
yes, sir.
I have no problem answering it right now. And I would love to. This is what is our life is about. We have chosen to be in it. Thank you. You send it to me. Just tell me the question once again. I will not answer it unless I find it very short.
Like choosing between being at peace with the transitory nature of this whole world and choosing to be still and going to a world beyond stillness.
To be still and going to the world beyond stillness.
Stillness, like whatever happens between after samadhi and all, is that what we have to work towards? I know it is I mean, I need to clarify my question so that I'm able to explain it.
You send me the question, but it may be, if you recollect our last Sunday session, we had talked about there is Viveka Khyati, which is Patanjali Yoga Sutra talks about from the yogic principle, from the Sankhya philosophy, you attain samadhi to get liberation. But there is experience and there is knowledge. So you have the experience of the samadhi, but samadhi is not liberation. Samadhi is an experience which has got a beginning, which has got an end. All experiences have a beginning and an end. All experiences are different from each other. All experiences leave a memory. Now, Viveka Khyati in Patanjali Yoga Sutra gives you knowledge. So after the samadhi, the knowledge that you gain, that doesn't go away. It stays with you, even if you come out of this samadhi. Whereas in Advaita, that is Dvaita, Sankhya philosophy. In the Advaita, you are not going into samadhi. You are gaining the knowledge of the travel to becoming one. The 4 yoga processes which Vivekananda has given is the journey, is the path to become that aware. That stillness is the awareness, is shunyavada, is nothingness. Emptiness, which is everything, and which is emptiness. This is what the Advaita. But you write the question. It's a very nice, and we shall share more on this. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Jai Guru, is there any other question from anyone? Thank you. You have a beautiful Sunday. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Jai Guru.